Okay, so this is my Excel sheet. This is a master copy, it's blank. The first thing I'm going to tell you is that anything in grey, don't touch, because that's all formulas, like so. And if you change it by accident, whatever, you're going to mess up the formulas. So if you do, just click back, and then it goes back to normal. Also, if you want to change a formula for any reason, you might want to, and then you screw it up by pressing something like whatever you press and it doesn't work and then it screws something up, you can just press back and then it goes back to normal. I haven't put grey on every single thing like I have here, so don't touch any of them, but I haven't here because I haven't got time. I also haven't corrected all the formulas in every single sheet, so you might find little glitches, but you'd probably be able to work out what they are. For example, here, or this one, for example, you haven't got a withdraw heading, but with the rest of them you do, just because I haven't needed to put it in there yet. So if you do need to, you'll probably be able to work it out yourself, but if not, just give me a call and I'll let you know how to do it. So this is the front sheet, and this tells you exactly where your profits and losses are. Now I've just entered some data as an example, so these are all skew with, but basically this tells you how much money you've deposited from your bank account into the bookies. So this is how much you've deposited into your bookies. This is your overall balance. So if you've deposited 100 and you've only got 50 left, then you're obviously minus 50 on your profit. Withdraw means how much you've put back into your bank. So I haven't put anything back into my bank. So at the minute, I've removed 100 quid from my bank. Overall, we want this to be a negative number, and that will suggest that we've actually put money back into our account. So that's what we want to look for, and we want profits to be in the positive and this to be in the negative. These are all just figures, don't worry about them. They're just going to say what your current balance are in each different bookie and exchange. These are all the exchanges I've got at the minute, and these are all my bookies. There's a little gap there just to say, hey, these are all bookies and these are all exchanges. Do you know, like Betfair is an exchange and then Coral is a bookie, stuff like that. This just tells you plus minus, where you're at, are you minus or plus, and then how much you've withdrawn back into your bank account. Again, don't worry about those, they'll all automate, so you'd have to worry about them. Here is where I just write what bet I'm on at the minute. So like if I'm doing a free bet for Coral, I would just write that there, and then say how much it's for, and then that's it really. What I'd do then is I'd say what stage am I at. So if I've done the qualifying bet, or I'm on it, so let's say I'm on the qualifying bet, and I would just write on there, so I'm on it. And waiting is what I put the date in of the actual bet. So if the bet was the 8th of August, I'd just put that. If it was I don't know, 3 p.m. On the 8th of August, I'd put something like that. So I knew that I was waiting until that date, until that bet was done. When this bet comes through, maybe it's the qualifying one's done, let's say it's the 8th of August, that's done. I would then place the free bet, and I'd write done here. I know it's a bit anal, but it's just to make sure you're keeping very organized so you don't get lost in all your bets. I would write on there because I'm on my free bet now, and then maybe my free bet was on the 9th of August or whatever, so I'd put the date there just so I know it's 9th of August or whatever. And then when that's done, I would then put done here, and when I've finished the full bet and I've done the free bet, I'd put done there. And then what I do after that is I then just take the whole thing and like highlight it grey or yellow or whatever, so you know you're done. Now, when you've got one bet on the go, that's obviously, you probably won't need to do that because it's obviously very obvious where you're at with a bet. But when you're doing like 20 bets and you've got 20 different bets in a row and you've got a big list, it's very, very important that you know what you've done and what you've not done, because if not, you spend loads of time going, oh, what bet have I finished this bet? Where am I at? I've done the Stan James bet yet? Do I need to? Then you have to open the web pages and check your accounts and see if the bets come through. But if you write exactly what's here, the date and everything, you know, nope, that's not done yet, I'll just move on to this one. So that's very important. This bit is very important, I think, to keep track. Now, so this is the totals page. It tells you where you're at. These are the exchange pages. Now they should match up, the first four, with the totals here. So Betfair, Smarkets, Betdaq, and Matchbook. These are the exchanges you'll probably use when you get further along. So Betfair, Matchbook, Smarkets, Betdaq. These are all your exchanges. Now, again, don't touch the grey. When you deposit money into Betfair, tell me how much, yeah? And when if you ever withdraw out, then you'd write that there. So I withdraw. I try and put things on different lines. So if you deposit one day and then the next day you withdraw, put it on a different line so it's all separate. So what you'd do is you'd probably deposit and then you'd place a bet. Okay, so if you go on here, you go on your little thing, don't you, where he tells you what to do. The Coral free bet, I think, is the first one. He says, all right, go and find 2 bets on the odds matching thing. So you do that. You find the matching bets. Let's pretend it was this, whatever. And let's say on the calculator, remember you have to do the calculator stuff. Let's say it was going to be for Coral, let's say 50 quid you're going to place, and for Betfair, let's say it was 48, just for lols. Okay, so look at the data we've been given now. I'd always place the bets first and then put the data on, because you don't want the odds to change by you wasting time on your Excel sheet. But let's say it's 48 quid you've got to lay on your Betfair. So you go here on your Betfair, you go, right, I'm placing a bet of 48. Okay, that's how much I've spent, 48. The liability, however, you have to put that in as well, and that's 216. So I'd write liability 216, and then I'd write the event time. So I check the event time, and it's 4:55 today. So I just write the date today, which is today's the 20th. So I'd write 20. So I'd write the time first, actually, 4:55. You don't have to do this. It's easy to match them up if you ever get lost. So today is the 20th of the 7th. So I'd write that, and then I'd write the bookie I was using. So I'm using Coral. So I know that when I go onto Coral, this same information will be in here. So I know that this was done with Betfair, and then there should be a bet there with Coral. Eventually the bet will come in, and you write whether you win or lose it. So obviously if you win the Betfair one, you're going to lose the Coral one. It doesn't matter. And with Betfair, there's always a charge. So if you won, you'd get your 48 quid back. On exchanges, you always just win the money you bet. So I'd get my 48 quid back, but there would be a charge of like 0.55 pence. Okay, so that's basically how you work the exchange. The bookie side of it, the bookies, there's so many bookies. I mean, if I just scroll here, look how many bookies I've got at the minute, like so many. But yeah, you just have to keep, when you're using this one, just click it, drag it to the front, and just keep doing things like that. Okay, so let's get back to Coral. So Coral, now the event time, obviously I've not picked the same one on Coral just because I was showing you really quickly, but whatever the event time is going to be the same as Betfair because it's going to be the same bet. So all I do is I go yoink, control, copy, paste, and then put that there. I know I'm using Betfair, so I'm going to BF, and then obviously if that won on Betfair, then this is going to lose. You don't get a charge on Coral. I shouldn't have even put that column in, and I didn't win anything. So at the minute on Coral, I deposited 100. I placed a 50 quid bet. It was at this time with Betfair, and I lost it. I didn't win anything. So at the minute, I'm down 50 quid on Coral, but I won with Betfair. So overall, I'm only minus 2 quid. So even though it was a 50 quid bet on both sides, I'm only down 2 quid. What will happen then is you can then get your free bet. Now the free bet, again, you do the same thing on here where you find the bet that you're supposed to do. You follow the instructions, obviously. Notice the way I've got these set up. I've got my instructions here. Then I have my odds matching here with the exchange on this side and the bookie on that side. It just makes it easier to be organized like that. And then I've got my calculator on this side. So I'd find the odds for the Coral, like he says, find Coral, blah, 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 find the bet, and then I'd go here, I'd put it on, and then it's a free bet this time, so there'll be a little free bet button down here somewhere. So I'd place that, and then I'd find this one and place that. Now this time, you want to put your bet in here, so I'm going to put free bet this time. So this time it's not calculated, so that therefore it means you're going to make the profit. So whatever the time, date is, it doesn't matter. Betfair exchange we're probably going to use again, and it doesn't matter if we can lose it, win it, it doesn't matter. And the charge won't be anything, and the returns won't be anything. So remember, copy and paste the date and the time into Betfair, and again you're using Coral, and this time, you know, if you're placing a £50 bet on Coral, it's probably going to be about 48, 49 on Betfair. So let's just say it's 47 this time, yeah? The liability for that would be, let's have a look, 47, £211.50. You've got to make sure it's to the £211.50. Every little penny counts. So you put that on, and so you won that one, didn't you? Let's say you win this one as well, because you lost both of them in Coral. You get a charge of £0.116 this time, or 0.16 pence, whatever. And you always get your returns, which is the 47. So you return 37. So now, if you go and look at your totals, you're actually up by 44 quid. Okay, so that's cool, and that's basically what I do. Like I said, there are a few little mistakes here and there. So some of the codes, if I go to one that's really far down here, maybe like bwin, this code isn't the same as that code. You see how they're a little different? So when you put stuff in here, it might not compute exactly. If the numbers here, like current balance for example, don't match your current balance here, then there's a problem, and you just have to go through and check and make sure that the formula is actually right. Now the difference on this one is here I've got that minus my withdraw money, add my deposited money, minus the bet placed, and then add the returns. That's there, but on here I've only got, basically I haven't got this added to it because I've only added this column recently. So all you'd have to do there is just go on the formula and go, right, add, withdraw, and then click enter. So now these formulas are both the same. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it. Just be careful and make sure you just write everything down. Oh, another thing, bwin there is the name of the bookie. I put my username for it there and my password, just so if I'm logging in another time, I don't forget what it is. Another thing you'll want to do is on your computer settings, I don't know where it is for you, but I think it's here for me. I just click on autofill. What you want to do is you want to fill in your autofill details. I can't find it on mine, mine's a pain in the ass. But fill in your autofill, because then when you log into a new betting company for the first time, so if I click join now, for example, if I'm going to join, like watch this, where I go Adam, it goes like that, click enter, and it's done all my details for me in one go, and I don't have to do it. All I have to do then is make my password and username. Keep your username the same if I were you, and also make a new email account, like to keep all your emails going to that account about betting. So I've made a new one called KP Burden. I keep my username as KP Burden. My email address is kpburden@hotmail.com. Keep it all the same, keep your password the same, and then it's really easy to log in. So yeah. Yeah, I think that's it, Tan. So I'll email you this now, but make sure you watch. Make sure you just ask me if you have any questions after this video. Okay. Bye.